Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's interview series with me. I'm Jasbina, your host for today's show. And for today's show, we have author Dawn Airhart Witte with us. She's going to be talking about her new book, which is Recipes for Being the Power of Seven. And if you look at this book, it's an excellent tool that focuses on seven powerful words that can shape your life positively, right? So without further ado, let's welcome author Dawn Earhart Witte to our show today. And I believe that she's gonna share a lot of information with us with regards to the book and also about her own experiences in the field that she is working in, right? So let's welcome author Dawn Airhart Witte.
Hi.
Hello, Dawn. Hello. Thank you for joining us in today's show. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I apologize in advance if we hear some dogs barking because they're going to do
but
what they do.
let's just do it like easy going so that it's all it all goes very naturally. So we don't have to like feel staged or anything like that. So this is going to be a very relaxed and happy-go-lucky interview with you. So Dawn, you have an amazing bio of yourself, your author bio on Amazon.com. It says that you're actually an entrepreneur, author, international speaker, philanthropist, and you also have a mission to inspire people around the world to find their purpose and live it. You are also a certified life coach and the founder of the Desire to Inspire Foundation, a non-profit organization that connects with people, communities around the world to break cycles of extreme poverty, right? So you've also penned several books, and let's talk about your background. So would you like to let us know a little bit about yourself, Dawn?
Well, thank you for that. I think my greatest love is being a mother. I had two beautiful daughters and I loved every moment, even the difficult ones of raising my daughters. I loved volunteering in their schools. I loved being with the kids in their schools. And children are so special, so because of that, I've taken that need in me to nurture and love children to, my daughters are 30 and 29. I'm sorry, girls. They hate when I do this to them, but, they're adults. And so they don't need me to mother them, but that need is still within me.
Okay.
And there are so many children in the world that could use a mother's love. So I'm like, why not give that love to children that need it? And so after my daughters were adults, I kind of started following my path to help other children. And, the children who need water and food and, basic medical attention, those were the ones that like pulled my heart. So, everything I do is because I love children so much. So my books, my speaking, my writing, like everything I do is centered around that love for humanity, but also like specifically for children.
Right. So with regards to your writing journey, could you let us know when you started writing and how does that go for you, like in terms of helping your philanthropist work and things like that? So how that journey has been supporting you in your mission?
I think my mission is to help everyone live their happiest, most fulfilling life. Because I feel like if everybody's living into their highest calling, doing the work that they were put here to do, using their talents in the world to help others and help themselves, then, then I have done my job here on this planet. So I do that in Africa. I do that here because the writing part of realizing that life comes with challenges and struggles and, in everybody's life, in varying degrees, and how we view it and how we rise above it is what makes us, live into our highest selves. So that's why I really I do all the things that I do. I just want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to live into their highest self. So everything I do is focused on that. Children for sure, but everybody is special. And I want everybody to understand, nobody is competing with anybody else. We are all here to live our own divine reason for being. Yes. Yeah. And I want everybody to understand that, because when we're all going on our path, doing our purpose, we don't have to be in competition. We don't have to be, hating or jealous or envious of anybody. We're doing our thing and we're cheering on the next person who's doing their thing. So that's where my writing has been inspired from.
Right. So your first book, tell us about, because I think you've written several books. So tell us about the first book, and also tell us about recipes for being and how you actually met your co-authors, because you wrote this book along with many other authors, right? So tell us about that and how actually you came to know your co-authors, and that journey. How has it been so far?
It has been a magical journey. I'll say that. My whole life I've been collecting quotes that inspired me. I read something and I'm like, oh, I have to save this. And so I had collected a bunch of those, and then I started collecting things that I wanted to share with my daughters. Things that I thought were really important. And I thought, if these things are so important that I feel compelled that my daughters understand about the world, then these are important things that maybe I could share with others. So that's how I started my first book. And then, I started taking life coaching classes. I traveled to Africa. I've learned so much over the last 4 years that I've been on this journey of self-discovery. But the recipes for being, the power of 7, I've met all of these amazing people from all over the world who they understand the power of love. They understand the power of being authentic and genuine. They understand the power of being kind. And so I've put all of these people together from, around the world. And I just, when your soul meets somebody who understands, that has a very similar worldview, it just synchronizes. And, so all of these people are just these beautiful souls who look at the world in the most positive, beautiful way. And none of us have perfect lives, but we all have giving and fulfilling lives, because we understand what it means to be love and to be kind and to give and contribute to society.
Right. So your first book is Be, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's actually a collection of love with friends to inspire kindness, evolution, and you actually authored that book on your own. That's your first book. Then how long does it take for you to actually write it? I mean, to find your inspiration to write it and the writing process itself. Tell us about that.
Well, it's funny that you asked that question right now, because I'm in the process of writing an edition that is the love edition for this book. And I don't know if I've been putting it off or I've had writer's block, but, I've got a bunch of notes. I've got things scribbled all over the place, and I need to sit down and put them all together. So, I believe in divine timing. I believe that everything happens when it's supposed to. We put artificial deadlines on ourselves all the time. And I just think if we work with the universe, if we work with the flow of how things happen, life is so much more peaceful. Instead of saying, oh, I have to meet this deadline. And I'm not saying that, everybody's in a situation where they can do that. Sometimes you have a boss that's telling you, this has to be done at a certain time. But in the creative process, I feel like you're stunting things, because I feel like when the inspiration comes, is when you're going to produce the most beautiful fruit.
Yes. So when you start writing, from the point you start writing until you produce the end result of the book, right? How long does it usually take for you? Like, do you keep writing until the whole book is finished, or you actually have like writer's block in between, and you tend to actually go take a little longer than it's expected?
I feel like some things take longer than they're expected, and other things just flow and come together very quickly. And again, I think that's the universe or God or whatever you want to call it. It's the divine that it has a hand in everything. And so I don't fight against it. I'm just like, okay, I'm not feeling inspired to sit down and write today. But when I am feeling inspired, then I feel like that's when my best, best words, my best messages are kind of come out. I had a friend who, he's done a few paintings for me. He's this amazing artist. His name is Zach Mendoza. Shout out to Zach. But I've hired him to do a couple different paintings for me. And I said to him, you know what? I don't want to put an artificial deadline on creativity. Start painting because you feel like, I've got to get this done by this date. I only want you to come and put your best energy into it. So when you're feeling inspired to create, that's when I want you to do this piece for me. And I feel like that goes for writing and everything we create.
Right. So coming to your book, Recipes for Being, which is the latest book that you've written along with several other authors. The power of seven. So the power of 7 words. Tell us about that, and how do you guys, all you authors, actually decided to write this book? And tell us about that process, and what have you written for this book? What chapter have you written for this book? And tell us a little bit about that.
So I had written a bunch of quotes, and I was thinking, how do I put these all together in a book? And I was thinking, okay, there's the 7 deadly sins, which is telling us what not to be. And I just thought, the way I see the world is I want people to look at the world and inspire them to be their best selves, not to tell them, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Instead, say, how do you live into your highest and greatest good? So that's where I came up with the 7 words. So I came up with that about 3.5 years ago. And then this latest book, it was just, on my journey, I've met these amazing people, these amazing souls who understand that love and kindness is, our greatest currency. And so I have the good fortune of knowing all these like deep thinkers and beautiful souls that said, hey, I want to be part of your book. I think that collaboration is my favorite way to be in the world. So just writing my own book, it's not as appealing to me as like being in a group of like-minded people who all want to make the world better. So, it was just like such a godsend to have all these amazing people. Every single one, they sent in their submission, and I just thought, this is beautiful. This is exactly the message I would say if I was writing this chapter. So, I just love sharing that message with everybody, but from everybody's perspective. I mean, the Power of Seven, the Recipes for Being Power of Seven book, we've got people from Croatia, people from Namibia, people from United States, people from Mexico, we've got, we span the globe. And
diverse.
For all of us to have that same message, that's powerful.
Right. Shout out to Larita. She is sharing on us, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for tuning in with us for this interview today. And for those who are watching, if you have questions to ask Dawn, you can actually type it out on the comment box, and we will ask that question on your behalf to Dawn today. Yeah. So that's your, but yeah, it's fine.
It's our special guest for the day.
Yes. Right. So I believe that in the book, Recipes for Being, each one of you actually wrote about one word, because you have kind, grateful, inspired, happy, strong, genuine, and love, right? So that those are the 7 words, right? And I believe that each one of you actually took one word to actually write about. Is that how you actually divided, the whole thing, and you start working on your own chapters or the own word, right? So I'm just a bit curious, like, what makes each one of you to pick this words out, and how does that process go? Like, is it something really personal to your lives, like each one of you, or was it something that has been discussed before and then you start writing? Each one of you, like, pick a topic and then you start writing.
That was pretty special, because it kind of just magically happened. Each one of the people that I had asked to write a word, when I thought of that person, I thought, my friend Stephanie, for example, she wrote the strong chapter, and Stephanie has gone through so many different life tragedies, not just sadnesses, but tragedies. And I was thinking, there's nobody else that could do strong the way Stephanie could do strong. So it all just completely happened naturally and perfectly.
Right. So we can actually see over here. I'm sharing the screen for your Amazon page, where you those who are viewing this interview right now, watching this interview right now, see it's on Amazon. You have fantastic reviews from so many people who have read this book and took their time to write long, fantastic reviews. It's really mind blowing to actually read all these reviews, because I think people actually enjoy it, because it's something very personal and relatable, I guess. Everyone can actually relate to the things that all of you have written. So in that case, it becomes something very engaging, right, to people who have read the book, right? So how do you go about in terms of writing, once it's all done, in terms of marketing the book? How does it go, like, so far? What are the different efforts that you have taken, and to actually tell people about your new book?
I work with a team of amazing people. My editor, Deborah, is just, the synchronicities that we've had over the last 4 years, I think, 3 years. We talk every single week. We are in, she has just been a huge light. Tim.E.D. He is one of the most amazing people that helps me, spread the message. And I have so many people that know me and love me and support me. And so, and I think that all of our books come from a place that, we're not perfect. We're living life. We're trying to figure it out. And we're sharing those stories that we have learned with others to help them figure it out. So, again, divine intervention. People come into your life, and so I probably don't do the best job marketing because I'm terrible at that part of it. But to know that the people who it's reached, it's touched their lives, that's all the gift that I could receive.
Right. So, in terms about your co-authors, and and also considering the fact that you have written this book with quite a few of them, like I think 6 others who have written the book with you. So have you actually tried to host like book signing parties or something like that, so that people can actually come and see all of you together and buy the book? And in terms of authenticity, because I do believe that the reason why I'm hosting live interviews with authors is because I feel that when you connect with people personally, that creates sort of an authenticity in whatever that you are trying to tell people out there, right? So it sort of like connects you with people. So I mean, in this vast huge world that we are living in right now, amidst COVID-19 and things like that, it makes things almost impossible to have a face-to-face meeting. But I think the next best thing that we can do is to connect through using technology, by leveraging technology, right? So have you done anything like that before? And how are the other authors actually marketing, and what are the feedbacks actually you've gotten from your readers so far?
Oh, I agree with you 1,000,000% about, getting people together and actually connecting one-on-one. I think that there's nothing that can, surpass that. Because we've got authors in Portugal and Namibia and California and Arkansas and Texas. It's a little bit hard to do like an in-person thing, but I think that we definitely need to do like an online, at least, book signing. But I'll tell you, one of the co-authors, his name is Jan Grobler, and he's from Namibia. He is a life coach. He has a book coming out in October, which is phenomenal. But he ordered the book from Amazon, but because he's in Namibia, he had some like shipping problems, and he found a printer in Namibia who could print the book. So he's given out, or like he sold over 100 copies in Namibia. But my biggest goal is to have as much commerce done in Africa as I possibly can. So finding book publishers over there and, supporting businesses in Africa, that is like my dream. So, we're all using it the best way we can. But what he's doing has just taken, it wasn't even a thought when we first did it, like to have it actually being printed in Africa on the ground. And when that happened, I was like, it was like an annoyance because he was waiting and waiting and waiting for this book. And then because of the annoyance, he took a step that took us even 20 steps further than we would have been had he got it. So again, like everything happens for a reason, even if you don't see the beauty at the moment.
Right. So I mean, I think it all like it happens for a reason, right? Because I think amidst the difficulties in getting a hold of the book, you actually you were presented with a new opportunity, and that's where I think your co-author actually grabbed that opportunity, and you get things rolling, right? So that's the beauty in it, I guess. So far, those who have read the books, what were the feedbacks, and who were the immediate readers of your book when you newly published it?
Well, before it was even published, I made my daughter read it because she's like my editor, like that doesn't get paid. But it has been phenomenal feedback. Everybody that's read it has told me how much they loved it. And and I don't feel like I'm bragging because it wasn't about me. It was like all these amazing people. So I can say that without feeling like, I'm tooting my own horn. But when my daughters like think something I've done, it touches them, then that is like the best compliment I could ever receive. So yeah, it's my highest praise.
Right. So I think your daughters were the one of the immediate readers, I guess, right? In order to edit the book and to make sure that it's all prim and proper before it's being published, because all seven of you have actually self-published the book. I mean, you opted for the self-publishing route instead of the traditional publishing, right? So I'm also curious about when you say that you've finally managed to find a printer in South Africa and print it out and sell like hundreds of copies over there, right? So how has it touched the people out there in different parts of the world, different countries? How is the effect on them, and how do you feel? Because I think it's really thrilling to know that the stories that you have written can be people from other parts of the world can find it relatable. So tell us about that.
That's one of my greatest gifts, honestly. We wrote this book, The Little Book of B, which has the same 7 words. And I've given out over 2,000 copies to children in Africa. And to touch somebody's life with love, no matter where they are in the world, that is, I feel like, one of our greatest gifts that we can give and that we receive. So being able to allow people to maybe look at life a little bit differently and just understand that, everybody's lives have challenges. It's how we stand up to those challenges. And we get to choose who we are. We don't get to choose everything that comes in our, in our sphere. I don't think anybody chose COVID. I don't think anybody chose, what's happening in the world. But it's like, how do we respond? Do we respond in anger? Do we respond in love? And I don't know, to be able to touch somebody's lives, maybe inspire them to live a greater, happier life. That is my greatest gift that I get to do in the world. So, again, that's what I do with my books, and that's what I do when I speak, and that's what I do with my foundation. It's all about elevating
People.
Everyone, elevating.
Exactly. Right. So, I think the key idea over here is actually to share to be vulnerable, to embrace vulnerability, and to share our experiences without holding things back. Because I think even the hardest things, the greatest challenges that we face in our lives, will be able to speak volume, will be able to speak a lot of convey a lot of messages to people. And I think that's how people get inspired, because people don't get inspired by us telling happy stories or about successes all the time. I think it's all about us sharing something that we all go through, something that's real, so the challenges that we face and how we overcome them, right? So being real and being authenticity, embracing authenticity and vulnerability is all about that. It's all about reaching out to people. And I think that is how your books and the stories that different people from different corners of the world have actually made an impact to those who are reading the book, right? So it's really amazing to know that you've done such a fantastic job. And so before we actually end this interview, what would you like to tell your readers out there, or those who have just bought the book, or those who are thinking of buying the book? Tell us about that.
I think the last thing I would like to say is that, we don't have a choice in all of the things that happen around us. But what we do have a choice in is who we choose to be. you know? And so I want everybody to tap into the power of being your highest and greatest self. You know, be loving and be kind. Just because somebody else is being unkind, that doesn't mean that we have to be unkind, because at the end of the day, we have to live with who we are and what we put out into the world. And so, you know, that's my greatest message. It's my greatest lesson. And I want everybody to tap into their infinite power within them and understand that, you know, this life isn't supposed to be a struggle. You know, we are supposed to live it and live it out loud and live it happily and boldly. But in doing so, we also have to do it for others, you know. And if I can just like tell a couple people, if that like, you know, resonates with a few people, then I've done my work in the world.
Fantastic. And I think it has been a pleasure talking to you, and I can actually feel the positive vibes coming from you, and it has been really a great experience talking to you about your experiences, your philanthropy's work, and also your books, together with the book that you have co-authored with the rest of the your co-authors. And it's been a great pleasure to have you on our show today, and really hope that people will go and check the book out on Amazon, which is here. I mean, you can look at this. This is the book cover. It's sort of colorful, and it says recipes for being the power of seven, a pocket journal celebrating 7 words for living a life of purpose by design. And you have 7 co-authors who have edited the book, and you have 2 editors who have edited the book. So yes, so I hope people will actually take time to check this out on amazon.com. And Dawn, thank you for joining us in today's show, and it was a pleasure having you. And I hope that wishing you all success in your future endeavors, and hopefully we will meet again in some other author live chat with fans. And it's been a pleasure having you. And thank you for everybody who actually joined us, watching us right now, and also have commented, taking your time to comment and for this live interview. Thank you so much. And yeah, so the link is going to be up. It's going to be available for replay as soon as the interview is over. So thank you so much, Dawn, for joining us, and thank you. Right, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.